Hi everyone, Dr. Suneel Dhand, internal medicine physician. Welcome to another video. I want to share with you in this video a very important message, especially for anyone over the age of 65. It could be your mum, it could be your dad, it could be you, it could be a brother, sister, a spouse, but it's especially important for an older person, and I'm going to share with you why. Now, a couple of weeks ago, it had been an especially freezing day where I am in the northeast of the United States. There had been some snow during the day and I'd worked in the hospital, and I got home after work, I parked my car, and as I came out of the car, I went to the side of my car, and before I know it, I was looking up at the black sky. It was nighttime, and I had slipped very badly on ice. And it happened so fast. I felt myself slipping, and a millisecond later I was on the ground. The ice was really bad and it was very difficult to see. It was a flat paving surface, obviously at night, and it was covered in a thin film of ice. Now, I got up and thankfully there was no serious injury, but I thought to myself, goodness, the way I went down, had there been an uneven surface, had there been something behind my head, had I hit my head, the consequences could have been disastrous. And thankfully, the most I had was a slight low back strain that went away after a couple of days. There was no serious injury, but things could have been a lot worse. And this leads me to my main message, and I'm going to explain why this is especially important for any older person. Of course, it's important at any age. Anybody could slip on ice, but it's especially important for an older person. As a doctor working in acute care hospital medicine, I see people coming in with broken bones secondary to slipping on ice all the time. Even over the last couple of weeks, I would say I've seen several patients, and the overwhelming majority are over the age of 65, and their stories are the same. They went outside, usually right outside their house, and they slipped on ice. And they will come in with a broken hip, a femoral neck fracture, a humerus, an arm fracture, a fracture anywhere. It could even be the clavicle, the collarbone. So many different ways you can injure yourself when you slip badly on ice. And what we tend to see in older people who come in with broken bones, and remember, the truth is that the bones of a 70-year-old are not as strong as the bones of a 25-year-old. Older people, by definition, are much more prone to fractures. And people will come into the hospital, they'll often have surgery and then a prolonged recovery. They may go to rehabilitation, and lots of them are never quite the same person they were before they fell. And that's why this message is especially important, and I'm going to stress it again. Whether it's yourself, whether it's a spouse, whether it's mum, dad, another relative, keep on emphasizing this message in the winter months when it's so cold and so icy. And 5 pieces of advice in particular that I would like to give. Number 1, receiving regular reminders. Just that. Keep on reminding your loved one when it's icy and cold outside. They must be careful. The human mind, the human brain, works in a way that constant reinforcement is needed for messages to eventually sink in, and things will click in. When people keep hearing any type of message, okay, I must be careful outside. It is snowy and icy. I can't just walk in a normal way. I have to be extra careful. Number 2, think about your shoes very carefully. Your footwear is very important. You cannot wear the same shoes that you wear during the summer months. You must go for shoes with a good grip, a good amount of traction. Rubber shoes are much better than leather soles, and there are many shoes specifically designed for snowy and icy conditions. Now, the best shoes that I've ever had for snowy and icy conditions are LL Bean shoes. I've had these for a few years. I wish I had put them on that day before I left the hospital, but I have found these shoes excellent, and I put a link to those particular shoes down below. Number 3, walking aids and side rails. A lot of people use special type of canes that you can buy online for icy conditions. If that's not your cup of tea, there are other things you can do, especially immediately outside your house. You can have side railings as you first step out onto the ice. As you get out of your car, you can grip the car in a certain way so you're holding onto something as you first set foot outside of the car. But do put some thought into these extra things that you can be holding with your hands to reduce the chances of you first initially slipping on ice. Number 4, being mindful of walking paths. Now, sometimes this can be a double-edged sword, because sometimes the walking paths can have the most ice accumulated on them, and it's often very thin. Go for the paths which have been salted over, which have that added traction added to them. Hopefully you live in an area where this is done routinely by public services. And also what I find when it's particularly snowy or icy are that the natural surfaces like grass, like mud, are often less slippery than the man-made gravel or cement surfaces. Number 5, stay updated on weather conditions. Nowadays we can get this information everywhere. It's all over the TV. Maybe you don't watch cable TV, maybe you're smart. I don't personally watch cable TV, but it's all over the internet. You can go to a trusted news site, a trusted weather site, and you can obtain weather conditions, and you can be alerted as to when it's particularly snowy or icy and conditions are slippery. The more information you have, the better. And finally, think about how you actually walk. Your gait when it's icy is not going to be the same way you walk when it's completely clear and a sunny, warm day. You need a wide-based gait with your knees slightly bent. Of course, it will look funny, but that's way better than slipping over. And keep on looking downwards. Don't look right up so that you miss the ice. So those are some important tips then that I would like you to remember if you are over the age of 65 or anyone in your life. Keep on emphasizing that message, because as a hospital doctor, overwhelmingly that is the group that I see come into hospital with broken bones. And remember, bones in an older population are not as strong as bones in a younger population, so they are more prone to fracturing with even minor trauma. It's still very cold outside, still very icy, freezing in many parts of the country. I'm wearing my warm jumper here, and I suspect I will be for a good few weeks. Thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Check out my Health Academy and my anti-inflammatory lifestyle program. That link is down below, as is a link to my Uncensored platform. Hit the like button if you like this video and the bell button for more similar videos in the future. We will speak again very soon.